Welcome back to V8 Creative and part 24 of the Ultima RS build, and on this episode we're focusing on bodywork. I'm a very happy boy. I'm back in the Dean den. I have the RS back and I can get on with spannering again. Yes, I loved going to New York, going to the States and seeing those Ultimas there. And I also enjoyed so much. I'm still recovering from the Ultima factory tour. That was amazing. And if you haven't seen that episode, please watch episode 23 because it has been the most popular of the series so far. Now, on this week's episode, what I'm going to be focusing on is prepping and undertaking all those small jobs I need to do before I remove all the body panels. Yes, they have to come off. And as I explained last week, there are certain jobs we need to do once the panels are removed and then prior to them being permanently fitted to the car once again. And those include painting the inside of all the panels with a black paint, and also, secondly, installing all the grills. And before we can do that, what there is a small number of jobs, really nice jobs, like fitting fuel fillers, like for example fitting the fuse box covers. Small jobs which I must admit is very satisfying because they're like adding jewels to this car. So before I actually start fitting those, what I'm going to be doing is crawling under the beast, taking the rear wheels off and actually drilling multiple holes which will be used finally to attach those body panels. So let's crack open the tools and start spannering. Welcome to underneath my RS. Now this is really difficult to film, so just bear with me with this. Now the first job I need to do is these side pods, as they're called. What the factory have done to pre-fit them is they have put a rivet there and a rivet at the other end. God. So they're in exactly the right position. Now what I've got to do is, before I remove these to paint them, like I was just explaining, I need to, every 30 mil, drill a hole through this and into the chassis member for rivets to go all the way along here, all the way along here, and all the way to the front. So the process of doing this, first I'll put masking tape along that edge. Then I'll measure in, I think it's 25 mil, I'm sure it is, here, and along here. Then I will mark along every 30 mil gaps and drill all the way along using skin pins as I go along to keep it in place so this doesn't chatter. And I've done the other side. I always do that first, so I look as though I'm a pro when I do it on, on camera. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to speed this up, because you don't want to watch me drilling. I don't know how many holes is this. It's quite a few, but anyway, let's get taping. Oh yeah, a good tip. 3M. Good masking tape. I'm not sponsored by them, but good tape. Here we are, assembly area again, and you know what this means? We're unpacking, yep, and now we're going to unpack a brand new Ultima upgrade. Something that hasn't been offered before to the general builder, but now it is an option. So What I'm going to do is I'll put an insert in, and what we're talking about is when you lift the front clamshell, and I'll show you in a minute, there are two basically holes, and they're for access panels to get to the wiring, the ECU, the fuse board, etc., that are hidden behind those panels. Now, up until now, they have been made of aluminium. And you know what I'm going to say? Ultima have now released, get ready for it, get ready, these small access panels made of carbon fibre. Can you see that? Aren't they beautiful? Only a little upgrade, but a really nice upgrade. Beautifully fabricated, pre-drilled. Yeah, that's those. And they come with, I love this, 170 centimetres of very thin foam. I love that. That's obviously how they seat. And also, of course, black dome head set screws to match the panels. So there you go, another upgrade for those of you out there building Ultimas, and for me, more carbon the better. So let's go and fit them.
Live your life within the moment, and don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away. Our bodies move to the groove and the light that flickers. We get lost in the crowd, it's getting thicker. Get away from the drinks and chatter. Haven't said a word, but it doesn't matter. Live your life within the moment, and don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away. To the groove and the light that flickers. We get lost in the crowd, it's getting thicker. We get away from the drinks and chatter. Haven't said a word, but it doesn't matter. Feel the air get thinner. I'm standing in a blurry dream. No one else can see us. Live your life within the moment. And don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away. Thinner. I'm standing in a blurry dream. No one else can see us. So let us dance this night away.
Next, we're moving amidships. And as I previously explained, we're trying to drill as many holes as we need to prior to taking the body panels off. So next we're going to put on the fuel fillers. Now these fillers, as I've shown you in a previous episode, are just works of art. Look at this. If I just place that in there, just look at that. Isn't that lovely? And what you see here is the Ultima brand etched into the little lever here, which is white, which matches the bodywork. It's the smallest of things, gets me very excited. Now, before I start drilling all these holes for the countersunk set screws, what I want to do is I want to protect this fiberglass. So I'm going to pop this out, and then I'm going to put some masking tape around that flange. Next, if I pop the fuel filler back. Now, what I need to be able to do is get this fuel filler exactly correct in the rotational direction. And to do this, what you do is you pop in the other fuel filler, which you can't see, and then I get a straight edge. Just be careful of the gel coat. And pop it across the car. Now what you do, I'll do it this side so you can see, is you take two holes, 1, 2, and put the center line of that straight edge through those holes. And then what I'm going to do is pop the other side and do the same. So just bear with me. And here I am, I've come back just to line these holes up perfectly. It is so easy to get this slightly wrong, and to be honest, every time you get in and out the car, it would just drive you nuts if it's not perfect. So here I go. Another very slight adjustment. So now I'm going to remove the straight edge very carefully. And with this in place, and of course, using an Ultima carbon fibre pen, no less. Let's mark the holes. There we go. 2, 4, 6, 8. Then we remove the filler. Now the set screws come with little washers, all stainless steel, and little lock nuts, nylocks. And you need to drill a 5.5mm hole in each one of those. Now I'll just put those to one side. Now what I'm going to do is try and put something under here, because I don't want all that falling onto my fuel tank. Oh, I'm sure Rufus won't mind. This is his blanket from his bed. Sorry, Rufy. There we go. Perfect, look at that. Now when you're drilling through fiberglass, you just have to be particularly careful, and the reason is gel coat can be very brittle. So what you do is don't start the drill too fast. Keep a nice even pressure. Don't push, let the weight of the drill take it through, because the fiberglass itself cuts very easily. It will blunt your drills too, pretty quickly. There we go, all done. Now what I do now before I do anything is get the hoover. Come here, Henry. Henry, come on. Okay, so now just remove the masking tape, and then let's get the fuel filler And the moment of truth. What I'm doing here, I'm not actually bolting this in because we don't need to, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be painting the back, so we don't want this on there, but really this is just to make sure everything is aligned perfectly. So it's very easy for the holes to get slightly misaligned, but this is going very well. Now, what I do with it here, this is just me, I look at the light on the heads of all these to make sure they're sitting perfectly flat, and these two are slightly tilted. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this off. Easier said than done. So yeah, I can see these two holes here slightly need to come out. Let me get the drill. It's only the smallest, it probably is 1/4 millimeter. I'm just going to open these out. And we're going to do the same again. Perfect. Just feeling them. Perfect. So that's that side done. Now what we'll do is the same on the other side. I'm not going to show you that. More hole drilling, yep. So what we're going to do now is remove the rear wheel, and this side pod on the inside has a flange which has been connected just by 2 rivets, but now what I'm going to do is drill every 30 mil, so there'll be a line of rivets to hold this on during the final body fit. Let's go. So what you can see here is on this return flange on the side pod, what Ultima do is they put spacers behind here in the chassis. So this edge is perfectly aligned with the back clamshell. So what I'm going to do now is get my little rolly seat and mark this with masking tape, holes every 30 mil. Now we finished doing the drilling at the rear of the side pod into the chassis, and now we're going to focus on the front. Now what we can see here is the side pod needs to be connected to the center tub, and this is done by putting a line of rivets, again 30mm spacing, along this flange here. In addition, the center tub on this flange has again a row of 30mm space rivets going into the chassis. Now behind this fiberglass is actually a tubular component of the chassis, and drilling into that you have to be exactly on the crest of that tube, and that's done by measuring very accurately up behind here to where the center of it sits, and then marking along. And again, when you're drilling in, it's not being too aggressive because the drill can wander, and going through this rather soft material can give you elongated holes, so just have to be very careful doing that. Now you can probably see here, there's like a hole. Now that hole is actually filled once all the bodywork is on permanently by what's known as an inner wheel arch. It's black, and again it's riveted and sealed with sealant to ensure all that area there is waterproof. So the first thing to do, let's take the wheel off. Cue music.
You're smiling, just really doing nothing. That's the thing I like about you. On the highway, it's our way, Route 66, and we keep on driving. We just do what we wanna do. Yeah, no, nothing's complicated with you. Hey, playing songs on the radio, sing along to the words that we don't know how. Brings out the hours, let's just run away. Yeah, I could drive the whole along, being with you is like being on the rodeo house. Brings out the hours, I've got a little crush on you. You say that I'm crazy, it's just the way that I get every time that I am with you. Your laughter takes me to heaven, I just wanna make you repeat it and repeat it again. Yeah, you make the sky so blue. No, nothing's complicated with you. Hey, playing songs on the radio, sing along to the words that we don't know how. Brings out the hours, let's just run away. Yeah, I could drive the whole along, being with you is like being on the rodeo house. Brings out the hours, I've got a little crush on you. On the highway, it's always Route 66, and we keep on driving. We just do what we wanna do. Hey, playing songs on the radio, sing along to the words that we don't know how.
What a week. I've loved making this episode because of course I'm spannering again, and there's nothing more than I like of being in the Dean Den and spannering. It's what really motivates me doing this. I just love it. Yep, riding in fast Ultimas is great. Going around the factory is, yeah, that's really amazing actually. But this spannering is superb. This week, I've gone through and ticked off quite a few jobs that needs to be done on all those body panels before I take them off to paint them on the inside. So what I thought I'd do is just give you a summary of what's been done and what is left to do. So it gives you sort of a flavour of what's going to come in the next episode. Now, first of all, when I got the body and chassis back from the factory, Jeff had done a couple of these jobs for me. Thank you, Jeff, if you're listening. Appreciated it. So firstly, positioning the fuel tanks millimeter perfect. Because of course, when I positioned them, I didn't have the side pods on. So really, I didn't have the datum to get them perfect. But Jeff has done that for me. He's slightly adjusted them. And also, secondly, underneath the dashboard, where the air conditioning system fits and the little control panel, the actual dashboard wraps underneath there and is drilled and actually connected to the chassis tube. And thank you, Jeff, you did that for me as well. Now, on this week's episode, what you've just seen, we've clearly done all the hole drilling on the center tub and also the side pods. We've also installed those amazing fuel fillers. They are superb. And finally, those carbon access panels. I know they're small, but if you're building one of these cars, don't go for the standard alloy ones. Upgrade to the carbon. The factory have them in stock now, so you've just got to do it. It's not expensive and they just look absolutely stunning. So what jobs are left? Well, there's only a handful, so we're getting there. This is moving along, this project. First of all, the dashboard. Now, this is probably the biggest job to do, whereby every hole needs to be drilled for the instruments, for warning lights, for switches, for the ignition switch. You get the idea. And what we do is we actually do that while the center tub is on the car, because it's firm and it means it doesn't move around. But you've got to be careful with all that dust. You've got to mask the car up, which I'll be going on Amazon after I finish filming and ordering a lot of polythene. Next, we have to fit the windscreen wiper and also the windscreen washer. Not actually fit them, but drill the holes for them. And next, the front and rear clamshells, those catches that you see me clicking with my hand. When the car is finished, those are actually activated by Bowden cables. You actually pull them, and those actually sit in the luggage container. And what I'll be doing is fitting those as well. And that's it. And once I've done those jobs, it will be body shell off, which, yeah, it'll be fine. I'm worrying about it too much. Anyway, I'm just worried about the room in here of me filming. So anyway, on that note, all I want to say is thank you for watching. And I must say, the last episode has gone stratospheric. It really has. Over 60,000 views at the time of filming this, which is more than double what I usually get. And of course, subscribers out there, thank you. We're almost at 3,000, and total views, we're nudging up to that big million. And I think what I might do is make myself one of those sort of YouTube awards. I know I need lots and lots to get that, but I might make one out of carbon fibre just to celebrate the RS build, frame it and pop it in my virtual study. And remember, keep spannering, keep smiling, and creativity, clearly, is intelligence having fun. Until next time, bye.
Live your life within the moment. And don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away.